Welcome to Sports from the Couch
I gotta say, it's the stupidest thing in sports.
with your host, Mike Mercado.
Players cannot stand him. Coaches cannot stand him. Most importantly, the fans can't stand him.
Brought to you by Mercado Airwaves.
I'm gonna say it once, and hopefully I'm wrong, but it's a disaster waiting to happen.
That is so bad. That is absolutely brutal.
Hello and welcome in, friends, to Sports from the Couch here on Mercado Airwaves. I'm your host, Mike Mercado. I want to thank you so much for making us a part of your Thanksgiving weekend, friends. I hope each and every one of you is being safe and sound the best you can this holiday season. And if we are here on a Thursday, it means it is time for some NFL confidence picks. But before we get into all that, let's take care of some housekeeping notes. Go follow me all over the universe. I'm on Twitter at Mike M Media. I'm also on Instagram at Mike Mercado. And you can follow the show on Twitter at Couch Sports Talk. Like, rate, review, and share us wherever you get your favorite podcast at Mercado Airwaves. You can become a producer of the show at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. You can also get our interviews ad-free and before anybody else with athletes and celebrities. That's patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. We have a bunch of swag. The holiday season is here, my friends. Be the best relative that has the best gifts by going to teespring.com/Mercado Airwaves and get some swag to support your favorite podcast network and to show love to your family. We're on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves Network. We're currently playing Spider-Man Miles Morales, so join us right there. YouTube.com/Mercado Airwaves. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. And follow the network if you want to keep up to date with everything we're doing from all the different shows on the network on Twitter at Mercado Airwaves. It is week 12. It is Thanksgiving. Let's get to our confidence picks for the week. So before we get into the picks, thank you once again for joining us on this holiday season. And of course, if you're new to us here on Sports from the Couch as we make our confidence picks, we used to do it live in front of the camera and we would make the picks and explain it and move it up and down. But I feel like the last way we've been doing it the last few weeks has been much more, smooth, where we've already made the picks, we've already put the confidence points on them, and now I'm just going to run them down to you and explain to you why I made that choice. And of course, because it's Thanksgiving, we're going to have 2 games on a Thursday night. We were supposed to have 3, but Baltimore and Pittsburgh has been moved from Thursday night primetime to Sunday afternoon on NBC. So make sure if you were planning to watch that game, if it was hyped on your calendar, it is now Sunday. So we now have 2 traditional Thursday night Thanksgiving games, and we will talk about all of that as we make our picks. Thank you for joining us. Let's go ahead and see if we can get right. We've been doing pretty good. Right now, if you're wondering, in the standings on the confidence pool that I'm in, I am currently in like 26th place out of, I think, over 70 people. So we're having a good season, trying to win a few weeks. We've had some really good weeks, and we've had some just like the NFL where it's been up and down, but we're going to try to make that right now. And we start off with the game that I put 16 confidence points in. The Kansas City Chiefs over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, this one is, for a lot of people, I can understand, it's one thing to put a lot of points on the Chiefs, obviously, right? They're the best team in the NFL. It's another thing to put that many points against Tampa Bay. See, here's the thing, right? Even though they didn't have a good game, even though they've lost really random games to teams that they should be beating, the fact remains is they have a lot of talent that at any given Sunday, the term that we all know, and it's as true as any, that they could go off and put 50 points on a team. Here's why I don't have as much confidence with this matchup specifically. If this was Big Ben versus Tom Brady, like the Steelers versus Tampa Bay, that's one thing. I think it's better matched up. But in this matchup, where I'm seeing Kansas City could put the ball in the air and they can change a game in one play. That's not exaggeration. They could change an entire game with one play. Tampa Bay with Tom Brady, he's not going to do that. He's going to kill you by paper cut. And I understand versus some teams, that's good enough to win. Against Kansas City, it's not. Against Arizona, it's not. Against Seattle, it's not. And we saw that they were in a tight matchup against the Rams. And again, the Rams are a team I don't think Jared Goff is going to go out there and throw the ball in the air as much as some of his contemporaries in the league. So that's why, I have a lot of confidence in KC in this matchup. Do I worry a little bit about Tampa Bay specifically costing me 16 confidence points? Sure. But I'm willing to roll with Kansas City. This isn't a divisional matchup either. So I don't want to hear this stuff about, what's going on with them against the Raiders. Same reason why everybody sucks within their own division. You see them twice a year, you game plan for them. This is also the game that's marked around the calendar. You think Tampa Bay, they want to win this matchup, and especially after the last few weeks, but they're also a targeted team. So this is the first time Kansas City, well, I shouldn't say this first time, but this is a time in which Kansas City's playing somebody that also is always constantly having a target in their back. So I'm going to go with KC, 16 confidence points in that one. We have the Seahawks taking on Philadelphia. I have 15 confidence points on the Seahawks beating the Eagles. I've always loved this matchup because I'm a little logo nerd, so I love seeing the Seahawk logo and the Eagles logo go at it. This time around, it's not going to be as much fun as other years, so I'm going to go with the Seahawks in this one. This is another situation where Philadelphia is just a bad team, but in order to beat Seattle, you got to put the ball in the air, and you got to be able to run the ball. And you got to make one defensive play, one big defensive play every time you play them if you want to consistently beat them, especially in a playoff game. So that's not Philadelphia. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks winning that one, and I have 15 confidence points in that matchup. We have the Rams against San Francisco. I have 14 confidence points on the Rams beating the Niners. See, this one is the Niners coming off the bye, the Rams coming off of an impressive win over Tampa Bay. If this was the other way around, and it was San Francisco leading to Tampa Bay, I might have gone San Francisco. But because the Rams seem to have gotten a little right, they have some momentum, San Francisco's just holding on for dear life. I mean, we talk about it all the time. You guys know how strongly I believe in if you don't go to the Super Bowl, if you don't win the Super Bowl after going to it, if you're the runner-up, it's tough. It's a tough thing to bounce back that properly. So I wonder how San Francisco really is just all gut and morale and really good coaching by Mike Shanahan. But at some point, especially the deeper and deeper we go into the season, it's going to start running out. The air in the tires are going to tread out. So with that, I'm going to go with the Rams over the Niners, and I have 14 confidence points in that matchup. With 13 confidence points, I am doing it. I'm taking the leap of faith. I'm going Cleveland over Jacksonville. So Jacksonville doesn't have a quarterback. They have 3 quarterbacks that they're using. Kind of seems familiar and around a lot of teams in the NFL, but especially here in Chicago. But here's the thing. At some point, Cleveland has to show me. Not only can they beat the teams that they're supposed to. You know, it's one thing to upset a team that you're not supposed to beat. It's one thing when you're the underdog, and it's another thing when you're at home and it's a bad team and you're in a competitive game. At some point, if I'm going to take you seriously, if I'm going to think that you're a true contender in the NFL in a division that has Baltimore and Pittsburgh, you need to dominate these type of games. You need big defensive plays. You need Baker Mayfield to be a franchise quarterback, and you need your playmakers like a Nick Chubb, a Kareem Hunt, a Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham when he gets healthy, when he's normally in the lineup, guys like that. You need to put it on Jacksonville. It's one of the things that frustrates me when this Bears season is that no point has it been easy. Even if they won big, there's always these weird frustrations and these little ulcers that you get at the very end of a game, especially like in Tampa Bay or the Giants or whatever, you know? Put a beating on Jacksonville, put them away early, and move on. Get right. Get ready for the playoffs. You have every opportunity, especially this year, to make a playoff push. Because Lord knows if home field advantage means anything anymore for this season. So I'm going to go with Cleveland. 13 confidence points. Worried about it because obviously it's the Browns. But hell, if there's ever a season to maybe kind of think they could do something, it's the weirdest year of all. So I'll go with Cleveland in that matchup. In a fun one, the Chargers taking on the Bills. I have 12 confidence points on Buffalo winning this matchup. Buffalo's a better team. The Chargers are a few pieces away to really be something special. And we always say that about the Chargers, especially me. But they got the quarterback. They got stud receivers. They're a great running back, or at least a great offensive line with a halfway decent running back away from being a dominant offense. Look how dominant they are already. And if, God willing, whatever spiritual thing you are, that Joe Burrow comes back healthy and that these other quarterbacks stay healthy, the league is in good hands. These kids are good. They can ball. So I like this matchup. I really do. Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, that's fun. This is fun. This is what the NFL should be. It's going to be a lot of points, I think. I've seen that at least Herbert's is defensive proof. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some quarterbacks who it doesn't matter who they're playing. It's like Patrick Mahomes. He could be playing any defense, and you're like, yeah, that's cool. I'll still play him in fantasy football, or I'll still bet on him. And that's kind of coming the case with Herbert. So I'll go ahead and I'm still going to go with Buffalo, though. Josh Allen, love the running game, love the receivers, love that defense. It sucks that Buffalo doesn't have fans there because that is such a tough place to play. But I'll go with Buffalo in this matchup with 12 confidence points. 11 confidence points on New Orleans over Denver. I mean, we got Hill. Taysom Hill, what are we supposed to do here now? You know, like okay, here's the obvious thing, right? He's fine. He's a good quarterback. He's a tough matchup. He's 30 years old. He's not going to do anything new. He's not going to be the second coming of anything, but he's a competent quarterback. And then at some point, I hope Jameis gets a real chance. Look, I can have whatever issues I have with Jameis Winston outside of football. Whether or not he's repented, we haven't really heard anything since, so good on him. But like, as talent, there's so much talent in that dude's arm. So I'm interested to see if Sean Payton goes back to him, if this is just a long play, if this was a short play. But Denver, you know, Vic Fangio is always going to make things tough for a lot of teams. I think he gets the best out of his team. They're just not a very talented team compared to some of the other teams in the AFC. So simply that, New Orleans, you talk about Cleveland, who needs to beat Jacksonville at Jacksonville to show me something. That it's one thing when you play tough against the good teams, the teams that get you up. It's another thing when you beat and you show up and you are on point against the teams you're supposed to beat, that are supposed to be the easy, quote-unquote, games on your schedule. That's what I need from New Orleans. I need them to show me that they can beat and put away teams they're supposed to. So I'm going with New Orleans, and I put 11 confidence points on them. I have Arizona taking on New England. The Cardinals beating Bill Belichick's and Cam Newton's Patriots. 10 confidence points on that one. Okay, so it's a very blanket statement when we say Bill Belichick's the greatest coach of all time. But there's a lot of reasons why, because I'm not ecstatic. I've seen Bill Belichick make great game plans against really mobile, good quarterbacks. Here's the thing, though. You let Kyle Murray start slinging the ball around, he doesn't need a run. He'll just kill you by giving it to DeAndre Hopkins or Christian Kirk. It's like that, Kenyon Drake, Chase Edmonds. Like, they're not, I don't think this is a team that can get really game plan for. It's one thing for Baltimore. Here's the real question about the Ravens. Are the Ravens' offense really that good? They have a really good offensive line if they're healthy. They have a mobile quarterback who does have an arm but isn't the most accurate of all. But, like, obviously, dude was MVP, so, you know, it's different, though. Like, is Hollywood Brown DeAndre Hopkins? No. Now, you do have Mark Andrews. But, like, your tight end, unless you're Travis Kelce, your tight end can only do so much. And, like, they have a three-headed running back, which means they have no running backs. So, at least in my opinion, I think the Cardinals, while they have a quarterback who's mobile, it's a different type of dude. Because that guy can ball out just as much as Lamar Jackson, and I believe is a better quarterback than Lamar. And you guys know how much I stand Lamar Jackson. That's how highly I rate Kyle Murray. So much so that I think he's going to beat Bill Belichick's scheme and whatever Bill Belichick has planned for him. So much so that I'm putting 10 confidence points on them, on the Cardinals over the Patriots. We have Vegas, Atlanta. I have 9 confidence points on the Raiders in this one. I mean, simply, Atlanta has a lot of offensive power, just can't put it all together. Winning some games. Oakland, old habits die hard. The Vegas Raiders, again, this is a team where if you want to show me, you've beaten Kansas City, you say that you're one of these teams that are for real. You hung in there with them this just past weekend. Derek Carr is looking to cement himself as a top-tier quarterback. Okay, it's one thing when you get up for the divisional matchup, especially against the best team in the NFL. What happens when you play against a team that's not going anywhere, that doesn't have his coaching staff, that has questions about trade deadlines back when it was going on? Do you win that game? Do you make it easy? Do you show people that you're for real? Now, there's only so much easy in the NFL. But that's what this week feels to me, is prove it week. It's finally time to cement yourself. Let's see who is a contender and a pretender. And this is a great chance for the Raiders to show us that I have the Raiders over the Falcons, 9 confidence points on that one. I have 8 confidence points on Miami over the Jets. Simply put, Tua's going to have a really good game. It'll be interesting to see who else goes off, and the Jets are not going to win a game this season, so we can move on from that one. We have the Giants and Cincinnati, 7 confidence points on the Giants in this one. No Joe Burrow, and there's going to be a week of film for whoever they decide to throw out there in Cincinnati. It's not a good team. Joe Burrow made that team look a lot better than they are, so we'll go with the Giants, which is crazy, but we'll go with the Giants in that matchup. Oh boy, here we go. I have 6 confidence points in the matchup between the Bears and the Packers, and I'm going with Green Bay in this matchup. Look, what are the Bears, 0-6 in the last 6 years, coming off byes? We think it's going to be Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback because Nick Foles is still hurt. I mean, what are we going to do? What can I tell you other than the same thing I've been telling you for 2.5 years? This defense is going to play well to start off. They're going to get tired at the end. And Aaron Rodgers is going to do what Aaron Rodgers does. Now, is Aaron Rodgers prone to maybe get beat, to throw a bad pass every once in a while, to get hit in the pocket? Sure, yeah, of course. Is he also known to just stay in a game? And that's the thing. If the Bears have this bad habit of letting teams stay in games, and it's so dangerous when all of a sudden you're playing against arguably the best quarterback of his generation, who can, on a flip of a switch, put up 14 points in 30 seconds if he needed to. If the stars aligned and allowed him that situation, he can go down the field and get them into field goal range in 2 plays. He could get your team offsides. He could get penalties when he needs them. And I'm supposed to feel confident from this team? The only apprehension I have to picking Green Bay is simply because the NFL is weird. And because the NFL with NFL, of course, Chicago comes off in a bye week. Mitchell Trubisky comes up. They put up 34 points, and they beat the Packers 34-21. Of course. But I live in reality. And I think I got to go with the trends. And the trend says they don't come off well against the bye week. Green Bay is going to want to win. Green Bay is really... This is another situation where Green Bay can put away the Bears. Put them away. End their season and take complete control of the NFC North. Or if the Packers aren't as good as we think they are, better than the Bears, but not as good as we think they are, and they let the Bears stay around, and Minnesota still hangs around, they make themselves a huge nightmare. So I think there's a lot on their plate this Thanksgiving weekend, no pun intended, a little bit of a pun intended. So I'm going to go with Green Bay in this matchup. But man, if Chicago wrecks the Packers on Sunday night, oh, and by the way, this is on primetime again. It's like, how much more? Why are we torturing the American people? Why are we doing this? But I unfortunately, I'm going with the Packers in this matchup. I hope I'm wrong. I'm only putting 6 confidence points in it because I'm not sure against, again, a divisional matchup, but we'll go with Green Bay in this one. Houston and Detroit on Thanksgiving, the first of the Thanksgiving games. I mean, I guess we'll go with Houston, right? I mean, sure. I mean, these are 2 bad teams. I just hope Deshaun Watson stays healthy and somebody gets that man some help. I have 5 confidence points on that one. What was supposed to be the third Thanksgiving game now moved to Sunday afternoon on NBC. It is Pittsburgh. It is Baltimore. We talked about it earlier. I don't know how good Baltimore's offense really is. I haven't seen anything from them. And then what happened against Tennessee? You have Pittsburgh, who undefeated, looks good defense. If Big Ben is healthy, they're winning this game. I'm not 100% confident in it. This is going to be a tough game, especially with the COVID stuff, especially being moved. So I'm only putting 4 confidence points in it, but I have the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Baltimore Ravens. And we'll run through these really fast. What is now the primetime Thursday game on Thanksgiving, I have Washington over Dallas. Again, these are 2 bad teams. The best way I heard it, Washington's mediocre offense against Dallas's horrible defense. That is the matchup. So with that, I'm going with Washington winning on Thanksgiving. We have Tennessee taking on Indianapolis, a fun game, divisional matchup. I think this go 50-50. I'm only putting 2 confidence points in this one. Tennessee, I think, wins this one. The Colts, I think are a good team. But I think the way you beat the Colts is you don't let Phillip Rivers get the ball, and when you do, he's not going to beat you down the field. So it's all about containing the pocket. And I think, for the most part, Tennessee can do that. They don't have a good defense, but they play up to their competition. And I like this matchup, so I'm going to go with Tennessee in that one. And finally, for Week 12 and our matchups, our confidence picks here on Sports from the Couch on Mercado Airwaves with Mike Mercado, I have the Panthers beating the Vikings, 1 confidence points in this matchup. Not too sure who's going to be the quarterback for the Panthers at this point, whether it's Walker, whether it's Bridgewater. I don't know if McCaffrey's going to play, but Minnesota's such a streaky team. And after coming off of whatever the hell that was, I think the Panthers are going to win this one. And this goes par for course of 2020 and how some NFL teams are going. So I like the Panthers in this one. They got some COVID issues in Minnesota, but at this point, everybody does. So I'll go with the Panthers in that matchup. But that is it, guys. That is our Week 12 confidence picks here on Sports from the Couch on Mercado Airwaves. And guys, it is Thanksgiving Thursday. I just want to say thank you all so much for making me and making us a part of your life. We really appreciate it. You have no idea how much it means to us that you are part of this experience, part of this entire journey. And I appreciate you guys listening to my dumb old self talk some sports when there are so many other important things in the universe to allow me to be part of the distraction that you have that, you call a solace. And thank you guys for allowing that. I love you all. Please follow me all over the socials. I'm on Twitter at Mike M Media, Instagram, Mike Mercado Media. And the show is on Twitter at Couch Sports Talk. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Like, rate, review, share us, leave a comment wherever you get your favorite podcast at Mercado Airwaves. It really helps us grow the brand. You can be a producer of the show. We got really cool stuff, guys. You can be part of the show. Patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. We even have interviews with athletes and celebrities that you can get ad-free and before anybody else. That's Patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. Guys, we have swag at teespring.com/Mercado Airwaves. Be the best relative this holiday season by getting your loved ones merchandise from our shop. That's teespring.com/Mercado Airwaves. And of course, check out everything we're doing wherever you get your favorite podcast. We also have a Twitter that's associated with that. That's at Mercado Airwaves. You can see what we're doing at the Good Brothers, talking pop culture and entertainment. You can see what we're doing on Murder Mysteries and more. Everything true crime, mysteries, horror. It's an introduction podcast to the world of the macabre. We have the Gone Missing podcast. Nicole and Alyssa are doing amazing work spotlighting missing people and cases that didn't get the major news outlets, news and interest. So check them out at the Gone Missing podcast. It's a really, really deep in our heart, a passion project that has become something really great because they've done amazing work. So check them out at the Gone Missing podcast. But that'll do it for us, guys. Thank you so much. Please be safe. Enjoy your holiday. Enjoy all the games. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. We will see you next time here on Sports from the Couch on the Mercado Airwaves Network. I'm Mike Mercado.